Some insects are totally harmless. The ones on this list, however, are not. These are some of the most scary and dangerous insects, and if they bite you, you may not make it. They can be found all around the world, so if you see them, don't try and squash them, just run. I'm Charlie, and today we're going to look at 10 scariest insects on Earth. But before we get into it, why not subscribe and press the notification bell too? Coming up first, we have Assassin Bug. Can you think of a more friendly name than an assassin bug? Well, these bugs don't have that name because they're so cute and friendly. In fact, their natural behavior is something straight out of Game of Thrones. These bugs are part of the Reduvidae family, and there are many different species of these bugs. However, all of them can transmit very scary diseases onto humans. This includes Chagas disease. This is an infectious disease which causes your skin to inflame. It also damages your heart, organs, and body tissues. They got their name assassin bugs because they're known to strike very quickly. They have long, sharp beaks, which they use to quickly stab their prey. They also inject enzymes into their prey, which causes their insides to go all soft. And then they suck out their prey's insides like a smoothie. One species of this bug found in Malaysia even glues the corpses of other bugs to its back. It kind of uses them
looks
as
like a
a
great
form of
pack.
armor. So if you see a bug covered in dead bug bodies, then run. Next up is giant orb weaving spider. If you don't like spiders, then stay well away from Australia. Down under you get an insect known as the giant orb weaver. You may think that spiders like to eat small insects like worms and mites. But these spiders are so scary they eat birds. That's right, very large birds are sometimes eaten by giant orb weaving spiders. And the spiders can actually grow pretty big themselves.
Nope.
Sometimes they can be the size of a human hand. And in even more tropical climates, they can be even bigger. So they're humongous, venomous, and eat birds. I think that qualifies them to be one of the scariest insects known to man and bird. Next up is saddleback caterpillar. Now these things look pretty cute. It's almost as if they're wearing a Christmas sweater. But while these things may look cute, they act very scary. They're found all over the southern states of the USA. Many hikers sometimes run into them, and because they look so fascinating, they pick them up. But these hikers don't realize that they're covered in venomous hairs. If you touch them, they will arch your back onto you. They will then stick as many spines and hairs into you as possible. And of course it injects you with a venom which could take you out. Yeah, not so cute anymore. Next up is curved spiny spider. This is another scary spider you do not want to mess with. These live in the trees in Southeast Asia. You know they're around if you see orb-like webs, because that's what they build. Their bodies are 10 millimeters long, which is pretty small, but they have gigantic horns which are a lot longer. Not only do they have massive horns, they also have spikes around the edges of their bodies. In countries where these are found, they're known to terrify children. Not only do they look scary, but they also love to bite humans.
I would pass out if I saw that.
Now, thankfully, their bites are unlikely to take you out, but they could definitely cause a rash or an illness. And if you're allergic, then you may well pass away due to one of these bites. Frankly, they're much more scary to their prey, which involves any small insects in the jungles where they live. Next up is Asian giant hornet. I'm sure when you were a kid, your parents said if you see a hornet, then run. But did they tell you about giant hornets? It's no secret all hornets can take humans' lives, but giant Asian hornets are even worse. Their body length is 5 centimeters and their wingspan is 8 centimeters. That's already because they're so much bigger than a wasp or bee. Thankfully, though, you will hear them coming as they're incredibly loud, around 10 times louder than a wasp. They feed off other insects, for example honeybees. Sometimes they'll even go into a beehive and take out the entire hive. And while they don't eat humans, they do take their lives. Their venom is powerful enough to disintegrate human skin. One person who survived an Asian giant hornet's sting said it's like a hot nail going through my leg. That does not sound very nice to me. In 2013, there was a gigantic plague of these in China. Over 41 people passed away and 1,600 were injured.
China.
Next up is army ants. Did you know that all of the ants in the world weigh more than all of the humans in the world? That's right, that's how many ants there are on this planet. It's thought in the world there's 1 million billion ants in the world. That may sound like a made-up number, but it isn't. It looks like this. Army ants are polymorphic. This means that different ants in their colony have different appearances. They can be 2 to 13 millimeters in length. This means they can eat creatures way bigger than them, for example snakes. They overwhelm their prey with their weight and then tear them apart. They have pincers which can dispense acid which dissolves their prey. If you ever run into a colony of army ants, then stay totally still. They detect their prey by movement. One survivor said their sting is so painful it feels like you've been shot. They said it was intense pain, describing it as, quote, like walking over flaming charcoal.
My package.
Let there be no mistake. This election is about your job.
No mistake.
Steve Bullock has become too liberal to care.
Steve Bullock
is siding with the radical environmentalists and
I can't
supporting
wait till
a
November
job-killing
is done.
carbon tax.
What?
With a 4-inch rusty nail in your heel. Yeah, that does not sound comfortable to me. Next up is Atlas beetle. These beetles are gigantic with big horns, and that's why their nickname is the rhinoceros beetle. They're one of the biggest beetles in the world, measuring around 6 inches long, and their horns make up a third of that. They have many different spikes on them too, which allows them to flip over their prey. Their legs are also covered in sharp spikes, and its big horns can easily go through human skin. They are mainly found in Southeast Asia. They live longer than most beetles, about 4 to 5 years. And while they don't eat humans, they do bite them. This bite usually won't take you out unless you're allergic, but it will still hurt and possibly give you an infection. Next up is camel spider. This isn't some kind of bizarre hybrid of a camel and a spider, although that would be cool and scary. No, these bugs are found all over North Africa and the Middle East. These spiders can be over 8 inches long, and while they don't look like a spider, they are one, as they have 8 legs. Their jaws make up a third of their length, and they also give a very painful bite to humans. They rose to fame when American soldiers in Afghanistan kept finding them in their boots. They go into people's boots as they want to find shade in hot environments. But this is not good when you put your boots on because they bite your feet. This can sometimes take humans' lives if they're allergic. But that is definitely a bad surprise for any of those soldiers in Afghanistan. Next up is Amazonian giant centipede. These guys didn't get their name for no reason. They can be up to a foot long in length. That's right. These are as big as that sandwich you had for lunch. They're found all over Central and South America. They have front pincers which can stick into your skin. Through them, they deliver a potent venom. This can be incredibly painful as it's acidic, and in some cases it can even take a human's life. Normally they eat very small animals like birds, rodents, bats, lizards, and spiders. And these are also known to crawl up people's trouser legs in places where they're found. So if you ever take a trip to South America, then tuck your trousers into your socks. Otherwise you may get a very creepy, crawly surprise. Next up is Goliath spider. Goliath spiders are called because they are the biggest spiders of all. They're about a foot across, bigger than most people's faces. They hunt their prey by building a mat of silk. Then when a mouse runs over it, they're stuck. That's right, these things take out large animals like rats and mice. They also have fangs inside their mouth which are an inch long. Their bite feels like a wasp or bee sting, and unless you're allergic, it's uncommon that these would take your life. But just looking at how big these things are is so terrifying. Because they're so big, they store up a lot of web, which allows them to build webs and big traps very quickly and easily. They're found in various countries, but mainly in northern South America. You know what, I think I might cancel my trip to South America now. But now it's time to make your voice heard. Vote in the poll in the top right corner, which was the scariest insect on this list. If you want some more amazing videos, then check out my second channel. But as always, thanks for watching. There's some more videos you'll like on screen right now. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and if you haven't already, what are you waiting for? Subscribe to Top 10s.
I don't know.
You have to go back in the video.
I don't want to go back in the video.
Which one's your scariest one?
Probably.
I'll show them my scariest one.
Probably this giant bee that can kill you by biting you. This one right here.
Yeah, that's pretty creepy.
What do you got?
The one that gave me the chills is the creepiest one. Right.
It's an ugly spider.
So it's your...
Shout out to Chills.
What the? Why does it look like that?
Looks like it has a Christmas sweater on.
Oh my god.
That'll kill you too, a stupid caterpillar.
Do it right, people. That is the scariest one. So creepy.
Alright.
It gives me the chills.
Gives me the chills.
Does anybody have duct tape?
We're done.
Okay, bye.
Don't run into any bugs.